You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. And be sure to smash that like button. So LSU got him another one. 4-star interior offensive lineman Devon Harper out of Calvary Baptist in Shreveport announced his commitment to LSU on Tuesday night. The train just keeps on a-rolling. A 6'5", 300-pounder chose LSU over, a few small schools. I'm not sure if you've heard of them. Georgia and Tennessee. At least that's what it says here. I think they might be okay in football, but Devon Harper chose LSU over those two. On3 has him as the number 156 overall player in the country, the 7th best interior offensive lineman, the number 3 player in the state of Louisiana for 2023. Devon Harper, a massive, both literally and figuratively, recruit and now commitment for LSU's class of 2025 as they just continue to put an absolute stranglehold on the number 1 spot for the class of 2025. As we well know, you've already got Bryce Underwood committed. You've got DeCorian Moore committed. You've got Harlem Berry committed. You had Jabari Antoine commit over the weekend. Now Devon Harper again. On3, as we mentioned, actually has him rated individually as the lowest of the recruiting services, but the composite has him as the number 156 overall player. 247 thinks the most highly of Devon Harper, the number 111 overall player in the country. But the bottom line is, you're talking about what amounts to a top 150 guy nationally, a top 10 in the country at his position, and the number 3 player in Louisiana with Harlem Berry, Jabari Antoine, and now Devon Harper. And all 3, by the way, are LSU commitments. I want to start, though, by throwing a whole bunch of bouquets to Brad Davis, LSU's offensive line coach. Now, I could, not saying I will, not saying I won't at some point, but I could go search Twitter. I could hop in the DeLorean, crank that thing up to 88, go back about 18 months, and I could find a lot of y'all, you know who you are. Yeah, you. Boy, y'all didn't have many nice things to say about Brad Davis 18 months ago, did you? I don't know. Maybe one day I'll drink some whiskey and just go search old Twitter posts and just laugh at all of you mercilessly. That sound you hear is the stampede from LSU fans running to Twitter to delete their old posts. Their slander against Brad Davis. But I told you, when LSU's offensive line stunk at the start of the 2022 season, I told you, 6 different offensive line combinations in the first 8 games. You listen to this show, you've heard me say that ad nauseum. You could have recited it. Many of you probably did. 6 different offensive line combinations in the first 8 games. You were starting 2 true freshman tackles. Into fall camp, you were still rotating as many as 6 different players snapping the football, trying to find someone to play center. When you took the field in Brian Kelly's first game in the Superdome in New Orleans against Florida State, remember, it was Garrett Dellinger starting at center for the first time in his career. Bitch in the ass on the first drive with an errant snap that killed a drive, if you recall. Oh, and a lot of y'all had nothing nice to say about Brad Davis. Never mind all of those circumstantial pieces of evidence which told you the story of what was going on with that offensive line. And all he has done since then is continue to mold that offensive line through 22 to where at the end of the season, they were one of the best in the SEC. Will Campbell, Emory Jones stabilized you. Charles Turner finally got his sea legs and had 2 great seasons as LSU starting center. And you had a couple of veteran offensive guards with Dellinger and Frazier. You went into this season out arguably the best offensive line in the country. Arguably. They didn't win the award, but they were up there. Oh, by the way, on top of that, look at how they've recruited the position. You had Campbell and Jones 2 years ago. Last year, you signed Lance Hurd and DJ Chester. And I know Lance Hurd isn't here anymore, but you still got him. This year, you flip five-star Weston Davis. You got Cohen Eccles late. Now look at what you're already doing for 2025. Y'all, Brad Davis is a monster. And you don't have to take my word for it. No, don't take my word for it. Don't listen to me. I'm just like a fat, old, 40-year-old ball guy. Just talking on the radio, running his mouth. How about Devon Harper, the top 150 prospect that just committed to LSU? He told On3, quote, his words, in quotations, not my words, quote, Coach Brad Davis, first of all, is the best coach I've ever met. So he played a huge part. The culture of LSU is second to none, he went on to say. A lot of y'all owe Brad Davis an apology for your slander. Dude's a stud. And oh, by the way, when this program was in shambles, he was the guy that kept it together, put on his big boy pants, and led LSU in 39 scholarship players in a bowl game against Kansas State. We had a receiver playing quarterback. That guy did. All right. Now, a couple other things. This is another check in the box for Brian Kelly, who, as we have said from the day he was hired, literally from the day he was hired, the two positions that he pumps into the NFL more than any other, tight end, offensive line. And they continue to just have this absolute conveyor belt of talent at those two positions come through this program. And when you develop them, it starts to look like it did this year at LSU, and it don't look like it's slowing anytime soon. I've been asked, and I understand this perspective from a lot of LSU fans that are saying, yeah, look, LSU's got this great class for 2025, but can they keep all these guys together? And look, they got 10 commits already for 2025, and I understand some of the hesitation, right? When you have this much talent and you're this far out from signing day, in next December, I get why there's the thought, well, man, there's a lot of time, a lot of runway, and maybe some of these guys decommit or flip somewhere. That could happen. You got Bryce Underwood, who's the number 1 overall player in the country. DeCorian Moore, the number 4 overall player, the number 1 receiver. Harlem Berry, the number 12 overall player, the number 1 running back. Jabari Antoine is the 7th best cornerback in the country. Devon Harper, the 7th best interior offensive lineman. And then you got other guys like Keelan Moses, a top 200 prospect. J.D. LaFleur, Brett Bordelon, Teron Francis, wide receiver out of Carr in New Orleans, one of the best prospects in the state for next year as well. Jalen Bell out of Georgia. But it reminds me of two classes in the past that LSU's had, 2001 and 2011. 2001 was the class Nick Saban signed, and you all know it. Michael Clayton, Marcus Spears, Marquise Hill, Andrew Whitworth, Ben Wilkerson. All those guys decided collectively they were coming to LSU together to win a championship. And they did. Fast forward 10 years, the 2011 class that affectionately referred to themselves as the FAM. That was Jarvis, Odell, Lyle Collins, Freak Johnson, that class. And what happens sometimes with classes like this is they just decide they're going to do it together. Like, it's not about who's the headliner. It's about, hey, let's all make the decision to go do this together. And so they do. And the Pied Piper has been Keelan Moses. Did you see Keelan Moses' tweet last night after Devon Harper committed? Keelan Moses tweeted, "Should I really be on payroll?" with laughing emojis. I mean, he has very openly and publicly said he is going to be the best recruiter for this class, and he is living up to his word. And it's interesting because, of course, there was so much angst with his brother, Dylan Moses, U-High, ESPN's next issue as an 8th grader, longtime commitment to LSU. Les Miles gets fired, he flips to Bama. Well, Keelan Moses is all in. And when you have this type of glue guy that's at the center of it, that's keeping everybody together, yeah, I think they will keep this class together. And maybe it's wishful thinking. Maybe that's purple and gold sunglasses. But you do see this where guys decide they want to go do it together. They want to go build something special. And so they collaborate and do this together. So it wouldn't surprise me if all these guys remain committed throughout the duration of their of their senior seasons and then sign with LSU come next December. But for Brian Kelly, it's pretty evident, man. This is uncharted territory. The best class he had ever signed in his entire career was the 2013 class at Notre Dame. That class had 4 5-stars in it, and only one you would remember, which is Jalen Smith, the linebacker who had a marvelous career at Notre Dame, had the injury in that Fiesta Bowl, and unfortunately cost him his rookie season in Dallas, and you know the story. But Brian Kelly is embarking on territory with which he is not familiar, a class of this ilk, and there's no reason to think they're done. They've only got 10 commitments in the 2025 class, but they're already far outpacing the rest of the country. And the latest is Devon Harper, the offensive lineman for Calvary Baptist up in Shreveport. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.